great highlight here at Renishaw at EMO 2021. Joe, it's quite interesting when you look at Renishaw's technology. What they're really trying to show here is more about the actual control of a component. So you're looking at additive manufacturing, tibial tray here, but what's your sort of view on additive manufacturing?
Well, we're seeing a lot of adoption, Mark, aren't we? Both in the plastics, but we're focused on metal here. We've got titanium medical components on the RenAM 500Q. And basically this is a quad laser machine, so basically we're printing more parts layer by layer as we go, really. And the idea of the stand is quite clever. Clearly we're printing here, inspecting on the very popular Equator next to it. But what we'll see further in this video is we're going to go onto a MAZAC machine where the parts are the CNC machined, the tools are verified, the components verified, and then obviously onto a CMM for further verification. And there's all the data traceability throughout that process.
And it's great with the Equator because this gives you an opportunity to actually measure by the machine rather than going to a temperature controlled unit to a certain extent. But
sure.
They're great innovators, Renishaw. I mean, you've been on the shop floor, you've used a lot of their kit at the end of the day. And when you look at the Equator 500, obviously much bigger components, it's been developed for that. But when you was on the shop floor, if you had some of the products that they have to actually control the process, you look at the MAZAC CV 500, what would you be using this machine for and to control the process?
So this is the perfect setup, really. This is the perfect setup. In a previous life, I did use Renishaw probing. I'd have loved the Equator at the time because it was a long walk to the CMM room, and there's always a queue. So the Equator would have been great next to the CNC machine I used to run. But yeah, what we're seeing in here, basically these are the components that have come out of the additive machine. They're being CNC machined, they're being verified prior to its final verification over on the Mitutoyo. But essentially, yeah, we're checking the cutting tool for height, for diameter, for tool wear, on the new blue laser, which is even more accurate than their predecessors. What we see here on the CNC control is part of their Industry 4.0 offering, partnership with MAZAC in this particular case. But yeah, this data is available throughout the shop floor, can be put onto dashboards around the factory, around the office. So yeah, just part of their extensive Industry 4 offering.
Yeah, data's key these days, isn't it? Because it can control the whole process, like what they're trying to show. But when we go to the CMM, let's take a walk to the CMM because we're seeing the final part being measured to a certain extent, and yet again taking all that data, and by taking all that data, it does give the opportunity of traceability, doesn't it? And lots of industries like aerospace, medical, they all need the traceability, don't they? At the end of the day. So I think what we're showing, through the process here at Renishaw is very much about taking that control, showing the repeatability. So really what we want to see on here is obviously the final part with other parts that you can measure, Joe, because some of the, this is the REVO 2 head-on here, so it gives the flexibility of, not only measuring, outside, but also the thickness as well.
Sure, yeah, and obviously CMM, you may say, we've already inspected this on an Equator potentially, and the Equator's great. You essentially, it's right before it gets here, but there's many sectors, including medical, they're going to want that final verification when the component is complete, and that's what we're demonstrating here on this very busy Renishaw booth.
A lot of people know Renishaw for maybe probes, don't they, encoders, but when they're really sort of trying to demonstrate, taking that control of a part and basically delivering it with all that reliability, it must be quite an easy sale, I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly, really. I used to supply Renishaw many moons ago when I was slightly younger, and it always amazes me all these new products they're bringing to the marketplace. And you're absolutely right. I think when we looked at the encoders earlier on, if another company had done that, I think that would take a long time to get to market. Whereas Renishaw, they're not going to bring anything to market that hasn't been rigorously tested. They're just not.
And I think there's been a bit of a shift, isn't there, within metrology? And I think Renishaw, are an innovator with that. Is that it's rather than just about a product, it's about the actual component and driving that through the system at the end of the day. But you know, as I say, if you get too close to a CMM, you actually get hit. That's why you should never be next to one. But no, the whole process is quite key, isn't it?
It is, and what we've explained in this short video is, I'd call it a sealed route, I suppose. Renishaw may call it something different, I'm not sure. But essentially, from the process, from the start to final verification here, it's fully traceable. For things like medical industry, aerospace industry, well, pretty much all industries now, they want repeatability. If these parts fail, you need to be able to prove that process from the start to finish. And Renishaw have achieved this on the booth.
Thanks, Joe. I think what we're trying to show you here is that at EMO 2021, Renishaw are great innovators of solutions. There are going to be lots of other shows, and you're going to see a lot of videos on MTDCNC over the coming weeks.